Tired of bloating, fatigue and sluggish digestion? Meet your gut's new best friend, NutriHealth 365's microbiome supplement. Restore balance, boost immunity, and feel amazing from the inside out. Smart delayed release capsules, real results. Gut health just got personal.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Trending. Today we're going to be talking about Donald Trump flip-flopping on Ukraine and Russia. Also, Bristol Council says they're not women. No. They're people with ovaries. Phew, at least we know that. Labour, they're bringing in more taxes. So it seems. That's good. They haven't brought in enough, have they? And also, YouTube. Apparently they're not censoring anymore. Good morning and welcome to Wednesday's episode of Trending. We're halfway through the week. We're nearly at the weekend, ladies and gentlemen. As always, Trending is brought to you with NutriHealth 365. The link is in the description below. A couple of shout outs before I start today. First of all, to my wife, happy birthday, my love. 33 years old. It's always that number. Numbers everywhere, mate. It's the Freemasons. Can't get rid of them. And also to my mum, who had eye surgery yesterday. She's at home now and doing great. She's got a patch on. Looks like covered my eye now. 33 and I've covered my eye. But yeah, she's got an eye patch on. So my kids found it very funny when we video called yesterday because they were calling her a pirate, which might have been my fault because I referred to her as Long John Silver when I said I was going to phone her. Anyway, I hope you're doing all right, Mum, and happy birthday to me Whiffy. Right, I'll kick off then today with Ukraine-Russia. Here we go. Ukraine-Russia war latest. Trump says NATO can down Putin's planes and backs Kiev, to win back all of Ukraine. He loves a flip-flop. Does Donald Trump? Loves a flip-flop. US President Donald Trump has said NATO should shoot down Russian warplanes. That'll go down well. Violating the alliance's skies after incursions were reported in Poland, Romania and Estonia. On being asked by reporters whether he thinks NATO nations should shoot down Russian aircraft in such circumstances, the president said, "Yes, I do." People keep saying I should get a Nobel Peace Prize, but did anybody watch that at the UN? It stands there. People keep saying I should get a Nobel Peace Prize. The only person I've heard say that is you, Donald. And the guy carrying out the genocide that you're enabling. He thinks you should get one as well. But he's a lunatic. His remarks came shortly after he held a bilateral meeting with Volodymyr Zelensky. This has only got one Y at the end of Zelensky. So Sky News, he's got at least 42 Ys at the end of his name. With Volodymyr Zelensky on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly, following which he changed tone and rhetoric on the war in Ukraine and said Russia was fighting aimlessly. I thought he was ending this war in 24 hours. That's what he said, wasn't it? If I get into power, I'll end it within 24 hours of being in office. In fact, I reckon I can end it before I even get into office. That's what he said, wasn't it? That Nobel Peace Prize thing was crazy, though. If anyone's not seen that. Everyone says I should get a Nobel Peace Prize. No one's saying that. Why? For what? Why would you get one? I've not bombed anyone, and I've not sent arms to anyone, and I've not enabled a genocide anywhere. Where's my prize? Can I have a prize? No, it's not one for me. Oh, Donald's got it. Now, there's no way, and anyone with eyes to see knows this, there's no way Ukraine can win this war. Not that anyone wins a war anyway, do they? Let's have it right. They don't. The people all just get massacred, and then the agenda goes slightly further down the line to where they want it to go. That's what happens with war. But let's pretend, for the sake of argument, that a team can win a war. It ain't going to be Ukraine, is it? They're getting absolutely massacred. And, you know, the leader, Volodymyr Zelensky, with 42 Ys, goes around the world with his swag bag, grifting, getting as much taxpayer money from Western nations as he possibly can to spaff up the wall on, I don't know, casino chips and white powder probably. A load of the arms that get sent over to Ukraine find themselves in the hands of groups like Boko Haram in Africa to massacre Christians. It's literally like a washing machine of money. And you're just watching all this taxpayer money of the already skint Western nations, like the United Kingdom, just get piled out another few billion. Oh, okay. Oh, God, never mind. That's all right. Granny can knit, so she can knit herself another blanket. You don't need to put the radiator on. Got no money for that, mate. Give it all to Vladimir. Give it all there so he can not win a war. But he's not meant to win a war. It's that whole, remember that Julian Assange interview where he's talking about the fact that these are just endless wars. They're meant to be endless wars. The military-industrial complex is making a fortune. They're basically just washing, they were his words, Assange's words, they're literally just washing all this money out of Western nations through Ukraine and others. And then what's left in the end? Trump's talking about 7,000 Ukrainians a day being massacred. They've been at the point where they're basically kidnapping people off the street to whack them in the back of a van to chuck them to the front line to get blown to bits. They've been doing that for months and months and months. Now they're getting elderly people enlisted. Can he pick up the gun? Probably not. He's got scoliosis. It's insane. They're getting sent to the front line and massacred. There's not going to be anyone left in Ukraine. There's not. And it's almost like that's the point. It's the breadbasket of the world, isn't it? It's the breadbasket of the world. And BlackRock are buying up large swathes of it, getting these deals to rebuild it. In whose image? Who's gonna move into Ukraine afterwards? Say they win. Not they're gonna win, but say they win. Who populates it? Because there's not gonna be anyone left. It's an absolute massacre. And if NATO do get involved, then that just drags everyone else into it. So you've got this, everyone says I should have a Nobel Peace Prize president, basically saying, yeah, shoot down Russian planes. All right, well, then what? What's he going to do? Go, oh, they've shot down another plane. Anyway, all right, and just carry on playing Scrabble. Imagine playing Scrabble in Russian. Jeez, wouldn't have a clue, would you? It's insane. But it's meant to carry on and carry on. And when you look at it, you think, whose interests is this in? Because it's not in America's interest. It's not in the United Kingdom's interest. Yet our Prime Minister, Sir Insincere Starmer, is pushing it and poking it. So you've got Trump over there, who's supposed to be polar opposite, isn't he? Polar opposite from Starmer. But they're both pushing for all the AI stuff. But they're also both pushing and prodding the bear in terms of escalation in Ukraine. And if he does do that, say he carries on with this rhetoric, because he flip-flops all the time, Trump. I don't think Trump, to be honest with you, I don't think he's got an original thought. He just flip-flops with whatever people are saying to him. But say he sticks with this rhetoric then, and he meets again with Zelensky as he's supposed to, and he starts enabling them and saying they can take all the land back and all that kind of stuff. Well, Russia's not going to have that, obviously. So then what? What does the MAGA base say at that point? Because it's got to a point now, and I get accused of it all the time. You've got Trump derangement syndrome. I haven't. I actually think you have. That's the thing. Everything's inverted, isn't it? Those that are accusing you of having Trump derangement syndrome are the ones with it. Because there's nothing they won't excuse from this guy. With the whole Epstein stuff. Yeah, no, don't worry about it. What do you mean, don't worry about it? With the constant pandering to Israel all the time. Yep, don't worry about it. Don't want to know. La 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 la. He's draining the swamp. Every time he does something that emboldens and enables the swamp, crickets. That's not how it works. And you've got these so-called alternative media types, these big promoted influencers, they're the same. And I'm looking at them going, hang on, if Biden did that, you'd be all over him like a rash. And rightly so. Guy's a clown. But you would have been. And this is the problem with tribal politics, you see, is you don't hold your side to account. So that's how they get stuff through. Because Biden was clearly not the full meal ticket. He's doing things and his side excuses it. No, don't worry about it. It's not happening. No, it's conspiracy theory. Really? It's falling up the stairs again. So they excuse it. So he gets all this stuff through. Then Trump comes in. And, you know, he's exactly the same in the sense that he's not doing anything like he said he would, because they never do, because he's a politician. But everyone suddenly goes, oh, no. But then the left side that excused Biden all that time, now they're on Trump. And you're like, but you weren't on Biden. And the Trump side that were all over Biden are now ignoring what Trump's doing or what Trump's saying. So imagine this, for instance. Imagine Joe Biden is president, right? And a prominent Democrat, you know, influencer and campaigner and activist and, you know, the Charlie Kirk of the Democratic Party gets murdered, right? He gets shot in front of a big crowd of people in Utah. And previously, Joe Biden has referred to him as like a son to him. And so a day after or 2 days after, the press say to Joe Biden, how are you holding up, Joe? How are you holding up after you know, his death? And he says, yeah, pretty good. We're building a new ballroom. What would the MAGA lot have done? They would have literally been like, what? There'd have been more memes than you could possibly imagine. Yet when it's Trump, nothing. And not only is there nothing, but when Jimmy Kimmel, who I'll be honest, ain't funny, when Jimmy Kimmel actually says something funny for the first time in like 20 years, they get him cancelled for 2 weeks. Because what? Because he pointed out the fact that that's not how an adult man or an adult person with ovaries, the next story we'll come to, mourns the death of a friend. It isn't. And Jimmy Kimmel said it's how a toddler mourns a goldfish. Perfect example. Like I say, I've got no, you know, I'm not a fan of Jimmy Kimmel. I think he's funny. He was a jab pushing idiot, but he was actually right with that. But cancel, outrage. He was making light of Charlie Kirk's death. No, he wasn't. He really wasn't. He was mocking the fact that this guy, the president of the United States, is a div. Because he is a div. They're all divs. It's just bizarre to me how people can you know, look the other way. So it'd be interesting to see how people react to this now. Now he's changed his rhetoric. Because the point was, he was the peaceful president, isn't he? So he's coming in, he's going to end all these wars. That was the point. In fact, I saw the White House tweets out something yesterday, how he stopped 7 wars in 7 months. I was thinking, what? In what world has he done that? Are we just making stuff up now? Oh, okay, that's fine. Just making stuff up. It's not a problem. Madness. Anyway, moving on. You can continue watching this episode if you head over to iconic.com. The full link, the URL is below.